Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Skye and Evan in the morning. And today we're here to talk about Smile 2. How you doing, Evan?
I'm doing very well, Skye.
That's good. That's good. So, so, Smile 2.
So,
What did you think of it? Um, do you think it's a good movie? That is my first question.
that's good place as any to start.
Because I don't think it's a bad
No,
movie, but I don't think it's a good movie.
I don't think it's a good movie, and here's why. The rules with how this creature works and what the deal with it is, they're they're non-existent. That thing could just do whatever it
It is
wants, and
extremely
I
arbitrary. I hate like how at the end there's spoilers. By the way, the movie just came out. Jill, this is the
yeah,
second time we've covered a movie that just came out, so spoilers, spoiler alert. But at the end, when you realize everything like for the past like 20 minutes was a hallucination, I was just like, this is so boring. Like all of it was a
well,
hallucination. Like the thing can just like
yeah,
create this entire scenario in your head while she's like walking around in your body and doing stuff and
yeah,
people don't
like
even notice.
it said that it likes wearing her skin, but they never explain because that seemingly was explains the lost time. Like she keeps like thinking that like less time has passed than it actually has. So apparently in
That
that
wasn't
time
really a
it's like
thing in the
taking
first
control of
movie,
her.
by the way, which is weird. Like the wearing your or the body as a skin. I think it might happen like once where the character like falls asleep and wakes up like she just loses time once, but it's like even when she loses time, she's just like standing there in the first one. It's kind of what happens in this movie. There's a time where she just like wakes up in bed, and then it snaps and it's morning, and it's like, oh, she lost time, but she didn't do anything. She was still like in the same spot. And then at
Yeah,
the
but
end, when it takes over her body, does all this type of stuff to like prepare her for the performance at her
yeah, and then they
tour.
just do nothing with it. They just drop it all. It's like I was thinking that it would be at least a failed attempt if they still wanted to kill her and that they would try and that like maybe the creature would go part way through and that she wouldn't there was so much they could have done, but then they're like, no, he was just fake. It's like, oh, that was kind of cool what you were laying out there. I was hoping that you'd follow through on that.
You mean just the entire like sequence where she almost beats it?
Well, yeah, when they set up like how they could stop the heart and maybe kill it, like
Yeah, I
it
thought that was
sounds
interesting too.
ridiculous,
But
but
that's the thing in the first movie too. At the end, because like it's a very common thing with horror movies that they use ghosts and demons and everything to haunt people. That they usually pick vulnerable people that have like a lot of trauma, so it's easier to manipulate them and everything. And in the first movie, the character has a lot of trauma regarding her mom, who was an alcoholic and everything. And
mm,
the first movie, they use that a lot to like set up that she needs to overcome her trauma and face it head on because she never confronted her trauma. She always tried to push it down her entire life. And so when she finally confronts her trauma, she goes to her childhood home and everything. She confronts the demon, and it's like, oh, you won, you beat it. And then she shows up at her ex-boyfriend's house, and she's still infected, and she kills herself. That's it. And then
mm.
that's the cop in the first scene in the movie. He's the ex-boyfriend who was helping her in the first movie. um it,
I'm sorry, by the way, is he the guy in the opening scene
yeah, the
who was
opening
trying to
scene.
kill the drug? So
Yeah, I
what
can
was the
also
deal?
talk about that scene, that it kind of
If
annoyed
you
me, but it's also great.
Yeah, I mean, like, the oneer was impressive and all, but, like, what is the
Was his
deal? Because it's like
plan?
he kills his partner and killing his partner transfers it over, so
No, no,
I
no. I
thought that the
think the
deal
transferring it over is that they the kids saw him get hit by the car. But that's even the thing as well, because later
I
on in the
thought that
movie, Morris says that if you get killed, irrelevant of you killing yourself by the demon, it doesn't it like it stops be infecting you, infecting other people. So it was kind of like, wait, he didn't like kill himself because of the demon in that first scene. So I don't know how that happened.
yeah, that scene confused the hell out of me, so,
Yeah.
like, he's standing for one, I love just that random burning guy, I don't is that ever explained? Is that just a vision? He's just walking towards the house, and there's some like scarecrow or something burning. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, the point is just that the demon's messing with his head. I thought that was kind of cool. Like he's already aware of it, so he just
It's
ignores it. I thought that was kind of a neat detail because that kind of
the
stuff does
demon
happen
is
with the
such a
demon.
I have a hard time like taking the demon seriously because so much of it just trolls people, and it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Oh yeah,
are
that
you
demon,
evil or
his
are you just
entire thing is
fucking
just
around?
trolling people. Yeah, because he could just do what
I
he wants to do, like very efficiently, but he does it in a way that is very, like having fun with his victims, which is why he likes victims that have trauma. Uh, that because he can manipulate them into, you know, reliving their trauma. Which again is a concept that I like. That
Interesting.
there's stuff that I
Yeah.
like in this general idea of Smile and Smile 2. It's
Well,
such it's a
so
weird movie.
so so what is the deal with the opening scene? So in the opening scene, he
Right. So
like
I
goes to
think the idea was, look, I'm gonna go to these two drug dealers. I'm already dead because I was infected by this demon, so I may as well transfer it to awful people. So I get rid of awful people because he was a cop. He already knew that these drug dealers existed and that they were awful people. That was the idea. I'm gonna transfer it to one of them, and but that's what got me really confused. Instead of him killing himself in front of them, right? He kills
yeah,
one of them, and then the other starts shooting at him, and he shoots back.
yeah, it's like as long as he kills another guy or someone that the guy liked, then it would transfer over to
Yeah,
him,
but
but
that's
like
not
that's
how
not
the rules work. You need to kill yourself in front of the
yeah.
another person,
What
which is why I thought that the moment when he had the gun pointed at the guy, instead of shooting the partner, he would have just shot himself, and that was the end of the scene. But the scene kept going. I
yeah.
think they just wanted the one to
Well
keep going, but like it had no reason for it to be that way.
Well, and the implication is that he's trying to get himself off the hook. Like he doesn't come across as like someone suicidal who like knows that they don't have a chance. That's like trying to transfer it to someone like bad so that like no one better. Like he seems to be trying to escape, but then he just dies. And
Yeah,
I
but
think I think
he
you're
could.
exactly right. They just wanted to like end on like wow, like hit by a truck, smile too, and
Yeah,
and
like
that is a pretty cool
it is
like
a very,
opening.
very well made sequence in terms of filmmaking, which is something that I think a lot about this movie. In terms of a filmmaking standpoint, this movie is really, really, really good. I think a lot of the
Yeah.
really there's a lot of really creative camera movements and setups and just in general
Well,
a lot of
even
stuff
just
really well done.
basic, like, little directing bits that I loved. I love when she first, when the guy kills himself, like, the world there's this shot, like, of her world turning upside down, and then
Yeah.
she, when she, like, thinks anyway, it's so funny, she didn't even take over in reality, but when she thinks she, like, can control the thing, then, like, it goes from a regular shot and then it flips upside down. It's like,
Yeah.
even though she's in control, it's like there's a lot of clever stuff like that, and it just looks good too. It's a
Yeah.
really well and it's under $50 million budget, which, by the way, not getting a lot of money, unfortunately. It had a pretty modest budget, but I think it
Well,
only
in
has
terms of
$50 million,
horror
and it did just come
movies,
out, so
yeah, in terms of horror movies, I think it has a bigger budget than you'd expect. Because the first one was very simple and very cheap, but this one, not as much.
yeah,
And the first one made a
they
lot
upped
of
the
money.
ante.
Yeah, they wanted to do something a little bit more, a little bigger, I guess, in this with this movie than the first one.
Yeah, so that opening scene, I did not know what the hell was happening, and I was further confused by the
Honestly,
talk show
having
'ca
seen the first movie, it is just as confusing, probably more, because it doesn't follow the rules anyway. I had no clue why everything was going on in that scene. I was like, wait, doesn't he do this? But it's it's wild.
yeah, that was really well shot, but I did not get what they were doing on a story level,
Yeah.
and I was even more confused because I almost thought for a long time that, she and her boyfriend were driving the car that hit that guy, and that's why it was transferred to her. I didn't
Yeah,
realize until later.
the thing is, the movie tries to trick you with that, which is kind of funny,
Yeah, I thought he accidentally
because they say, "Oh,
died and
you were
then
in a
came
car
back.
accident in the talk show, right?" He says, "Oh, you were in a car accident," wink, wink, and they're like, "Oh, wait, did she kill him?" And then it transferred to her. Like we're already jumping into this. This is cool. And then it says, "Oh no, yeah, there was another person with you that drove and died, and that was like a year ago, and you went to rehab. It's like, oh, okay. So you wanted to trick us for like 5 seconds to think that she was the one who killed
Yeah,
them.
that was a strange choice, but it's
Yeah,
weird. So goods of this movie. So oh my god, how am I forgetting your name already?
Skye, Skye.
No, no, Naomi Scott, the actress. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Skye Riley. Interesting stuff. I wish there were more supporting characters in the story, or at least
I wish the characters in the
like
movie were actually in the movie. Like Gemma could have been an interesting
yeah,
character, but she's fake, and you can tell that she's fake from the first moment you see
yeah,
her. I was like, yeah, she's
exactly.
obviously fake. Like you
It was that was
knew.
so funny. They do the whole music play when she's like on the phone and she's like, "You meaning you didn't spend the night at my apartment?" I'm like, dude, it was
Yeah,
obvious.
I knew that from like the beginning of the movie.
Dude,
The first time we saw her, I was like, she's fake because
well, it was so
she
funny.
forgave her
The
too fast.
actress Well, yeah, that and no knock on the actress. Maybe it was just the lines. Maybe they're meant to be delivered uncannily. Like low key, it might have been on purpose, but I don't think she gave the greatest of performances, especially in that scene. But it's yeah, I was. It seems so obvious because of exactly what you said. Like she forgave her too quickly. She like at one point like smiles in the dream or whatever, and then also no one really acknowledges her because she
Yeah,
just shows
well,
up in
because
the ending with the
but that's kind of
car,
the
and then
thing as well, that she only shows up twice in like a scenario
yeah,
where there are people. There, the time where she just shows up with the car, and then they get in the car and she's driving, even though it's Skye driving. And then there's the other time where she's just in her apartment and she says like hi to Skye's mom. I was like, yeah,
yeah, but
she didn't reply. It's obvious. It is so obvious that she's fake.
yeah, it's it was kind of a lame twist, but they bait that. They act like you're supposed to be like, "Oh, she does have friends." It's like, "No, that's fake," and that turns out to not have been a thing. So I'm like, "What do you have?" You have like development with the mom, but it's like that doesn't really that the culmination of that is fake.
Yeah, it's
Like her
fake.
killing it is real, but it's like all of the drama that was seemingly something that was like a vision. So
Yeah,
it's like,
because
who do you
that
have
that
that
entire
she
scene, which
developed
was
off of?
like the most important scene of the two of their development, was fake. So I was like, oh, does she actually not like? Is she actually not like this? Like the film's portraying her as? I didn't have any clue. Like what it was trying
Yeah, it's
to get me to think about like their relationship in general. Because if a lot of it is fake, I don't even know what you want, man.
yeah, it's hard to appreciate the development of this. Like, it's hard to talk about character development in this movie because it's so hard to understand like how much of this is real and how
Real,
much is
yeah.
fake. That's what I was saying with Morris. So why would the creature like give her a potential out and only for that to just be some troll again? Like it's like, haha, like you can control me, or you can like you can decide what's real and what isn't. Haha, you can't. And haha, like I'm gonna stop your heart and and resuscitate you with
It was
CPR. And it's
just
like, no, that
like
was all a
having
lie.
fun with her. Like as you said, the demon's a
Well,
troll. That's just it. There isn't
yeah,
anything
that
deeper.
it seems to like want to ruin your life, like or like humiliate you and like make you freak out because that's what it's doing to Skye. Obviously, it's trying to like make her drug issues worse. But it couldn't have made them like I'm seriously thinking her like annihilating the woman when she's reading the teleprompter. I'm thinking that that was fake because how would she get the tour otherwise? Like, I, I don't know. One way or another, she ends up on the stage and everyone wants to see her. But so much of this movie like calls into question of like if it even happened. So
Yeah, which is
I
it can
think
work sometimes, but it was I was not a fan. It's like
the ending is why I say that I would not say it's a good movie. Like you were asking, like, do you think it's a good movie? And because of the ending and because of how much that retrospectively like backspaces on the rest of the movie, I'm like, I don't think I could say it is. It's
yeah,
just
I think that's fair, honestly. And it's funny. I said I literally said in last week's episode when we were recording. obviously she's gonna kill herself in front of all her fans, and then she'll pass the demon on to all of them. That's how the movie's gonna end. And I said
Yeah,
that. I
audience.
didn't know that the movie was actually gonna end like that. But it does. It literally does. They did the obvious thing. They just fake out
Yep.
that she's beaten it, and then it's just like, oh yeah, kill myself in front of everyone. Like, and
What's the
how
problem?
you
Anyone who's watched the first movie knows where it ends and might have even been frustrated by that. So, like, if you didn't pretend like there was an out or you didn't pretend like there was a way that this thing could be beaten, then no one would care
get.
because they just know that it was a losing game. It's
Well,
like,
that's kind of the thing, because I feel like this movie is just like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. This movie fooled me twice. Because it is the second time they've done the exact same thing with the characters, and they're like, oh, is she gonna beat it at the end? Just try to create some drama, but then the character doesn't actually beat the
well,
demon and anything. It's like, you just tricked me again. You tricked me into thinking this was gonna have an interesting ending, but it doesn't.
well, honestly, the thing is, I started thinking that Morris was fake because everything else was fake, and I what I had a thought of was because I still thought it was gonna end with her getting killed, and I'm like, what if they introduced him only to have him actually, like, defeat the thing in the 3rd movie? What if they wanted a Smile trilogy, and they, like, want that guy to be a thing, but, like, not for now, they want it to, like, happen later? Because 'Cause I'm like, I find him so bizarre 'cause as soon as he was introduced in that scene, I'm like, "Okay, like, this is kind of silly," like, how he's tracked all this down and obviously how the thing works in the first place and his plan, but it's like you got the investment with his brother where he's like saying that like the thing killed his brother and that's
Yeah.
why he's like trying to track it down. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm like, I'm invested in you, but I they don't do anything with him. So it's like,
Yeah.
what was the point?
The thing is, but that I also thought that with the first movie that kind of was of a one and done, but who knows? Because this movie, the way it ends, it's kind of like there is no way to like fix it anymore to beat the demon. It is inside way too many people
Well,
at once.
so that well, I mentioned that I'd just seen Gore Verbinski's The Ring. This is an interesting time to talk about like premise in stories and like especially horror, like supernatural premises, because both of those movies like technically have something happens to you and then you die a week later. And I've got like problems with the rules in The Ring because it's one of those things where you like it's like when you watch this tape, you die in 7 days. Like, what if you stop like part of the way through? Like, what if you fast forward the mid? Like, and the answer to that question is like, don't think about it because that's not what the characters in this movie do. And like, things work all right, even though when you question elements, it's like, eh. But in this movie, they're like, you just lose your mind in 7 days, and that's what Morris says. He's like, you won't be able to tell what's real or what's fake. And when he said that, I'm like, dude, does that mean everything is just gonna be a dream? It's like probably. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah,
no.
the thing is just like it takes over you and it's feeding on you, and the way it's feeding is just making you more and more insane until it reaches a point where it can finally like take over you and kill you whole and move on to another host. It is basically just a supernatural parasite. Uh, you know, it's like it's fine
Mm,
enough rules. Uh it's why it's so weird
sh-
the opening scene, because the rules are I think they're fairly consistent with both movies, but just that the first scene I don't understand what the plan was from the cop.
yeah, maybe it's just desperation and like there is no escape and he's just like scraping the bottom of the barrel for anything to get him off the hook. But I'm like, dude, I think this plan's insane.
Yeah.
So should we talk about the jump scares?
Right. So the thing is, the first movie, right? I remember watching it, and there were so many random jump scares that literally made me laugh. I was like, "Oh, that was
Well,
a
there were
hilarious jump."
people laughing in my theater, especially to the regular like smiles, not the like jump scare ones, but like just the smile effect. Like it is one of those things that I'm like, I don't think this is scary, dude.
It is
A
a movie
blank
that is
stare
entirely
smile, like
based on the premise that the Kubrick stare is terrifying. That is the entire point of the movie.
yeah, I don't think the effect works as consistently as they think it does. I
Yeah.
think like ghouls tend to be more specifically terrifying, but my god. So,
Yeah,
you were saying that they were laughing
right.
at, like,
No,
jump scares
I
in
was
for the first
laughing at
movie?
jump scares in the first movie. I
Uh,
remember personally watching that movie, and there were some jump scares. I was like, "This isn't." I just literally laughing out loud. The people in my theater must have been annoyed because they probably were super into the movie, and I was just like, "Oh, that was such a stupid jump scare." And I could tell when jump scares were about to happen. It's first movie is way worse than the second one in that regard. The first movie is like the most generic horror movie you're ever gonna see in a lot of aspects. And the thing
mm.
is, I actually kind of liked the story by the end until the ending where it destroyed the entire point of the story. Um, but like, so I thought like jump scares apart, like the studio horror aspect of this apart, thought it was a pretty decent movie. And then when it came to the second one, it was like it's better. The jump scares in it themselves are better than the first one, and they're a little bit less predictable.
Well,
But at the
are
same
they
time, they're not great. It's just so cheap. It's just like, oh, she was looking at her phone, and then she turns off her phone, and the guy's just smiling right beside her. Like, yeah, you got me. I jumped out of my seat, but like,
well well, my thing is that, like, they're always so, like, drastic. They're always going for a huge jolt, and it really is, like, the most cliche jump scare with, like, long stretches of silence, and then like,
yeah.
just this insane, like, like, crazy sound of, like, distortion. It's like the horn, the one where, like, she's smiling in bed and then her face lights up and, like, it's like
Yeah. Mike Flanagan has done that once.
yeah, he did that with, Blind Manor.
Yeah.
It was better earned in that movie, like, they didn't this is another thing that was weird, a little off topic, but I almost wish that they'd spent less time with Skye after the crash and, like, in the wake of that, and you'd seen what it was like before. I think you should have opened on, them in the car. That way, like, her trauma and, like, what injured her is kind of what's, the note you start off. That's probably why in my
Well,
mind I
they
connected the car
wanted
crash.
to have that scene later because they wanted us to know Sky by then so that we could see like get the point that she ruins everyone's lives around her. Like they
Ah,
didn't
yeah,
want us
maybe,
to
like,
have that
contrast
scene.
to
Yeah, because they didn't want to have that scene that early on because in the beginning of the movie it's just like, "Oh, she overcame addiction. That's cool." Um but then, like, when you see that scene later, and it's just like the guy calling her a psycho, and she ends up being the one who killed him, basically. Like, I think they just wanted that effect to be later on in the movie, I guess.
mhm. But yeah, the jump scares were rough. This is another comparison is Long Legs, like because you were not the biggest
I
fan
did
of
not
Long
like
Legs,
Long
and
Legs, no.
I was critical of it too, but you were talking about, like, it feeling like it's teasing you where, like, like, it's always building to a scare and then the scares just never happen. This movie felt similar, but, like, the scares just didn't feel like they landed at, like, because there's such long stretches of quiet, like, I swear, the apartment with the psycho fan and, like, the clothes, she, like, slowly, like, is going and moving, and then the clothes are, like, slowly in the hallway, and then he's just standing there. And it's, like, 5 seconds, and then, like, you're like,
And then it runs at her.
"We
It's
all know
like,
what's
we all
coming."
know that he's gonna run after her.
Yeah. I the jump scares all are like that. They're
Yeah.
just you know what's coming, and it's like, what's the point? I guess that, like, that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to go in, and you're supposed to like the jump scares, but they just feel so cheap. They feel, like, so much cheaper than the average jump scare that you get from, like, someone like Mike Flanagan. There's or at least you get a lower density of jump scares in most horror movies.
Yeah, this is just like part of the thing that I hate about this movie because it is so studio. Like the amount of jump scares, is just like, yeah, that's what you'd see in the generic horror movies that we see. Like Blumhouse make 100 a year. It isn't like the scares that are really earned. And it's like I find the concept kind of unsettling like, oh, there's this thing that's making you insane.
Yeah.
But it is kind of unsettling if like she knows and she's trying to stop it, but she's not really, because she
Well,
knows she only learns about it 3 days into it, and then she doesn't want to stop it because she's scared that she's gonna have to die and be resuscitated. It's and by
well,
that point, then when she does want to do it, she's just being taken over. So it's like there isn't really like stakes in this movie. We all know she's gonna die. It's hopeless.
Well, that's my biggest criticism with this movie. She doesn't do anything. Like, she just lets the movie happen to her. Because as soon as that guy kills himself, you need to call a lawyer. You need to get a lawyer. You need to be like, listen, I went to like a friend's house who deals drugs to get Vicodin for my back, and he fucking killed himself. What do? I threw up when I was there, and it's like they, they might not even do anything, but it's like you need to tell someone, you need to get a lawyer to like defend you because she did not do anything wrong in that. Like she was out to like deal drugs. You could come up with an excuse though. It's like it's better to get ahead of that and to get ahead of the police, which apparently the police like didn't investigate her at all, or at least like they didn't
Yeah.
find any connections.
Which
But
I found insane
it,
too, because she literally threw up in the.
yeah, it's she Googles it. It's really again. That's why you do a lawyer because you don't want to Google like does this leave DNA
Yeah,
or
does
like if you
vomit leave
kill someone
DNA?
are the police gonna find but so after that happens, she just goes home and she just doesn't really tell anybody
Well,
other than
she
her
tells
friend.
Gemma, who
And
isn't Rio, so yeah.
yeah, but other than that, and okay, the water bottle scene pissed me the hell off because as soon as that happens, you're like, okay, I'm seeing shit. I am having vivid hallucinations because I full out like
That
that. I
yeah, that is
heard the
another thing that
sound, it
annoyed
broke.
me.
I went to get a broom, and
Yeah,
then I saw someone in the hallway, and now that glass is up. That was a
yeah,
hallucination,
and
a vivid
everything just
hallucination.
disappeared. Yeah, the thing is, and there's something that happens a lot with studio horror that I really hate, is that the characters see a bunch of like insane shit that is like clearly not real, and instead of like calling a psychiatrist or putting themselves in a mental hospital or telling a fucking friend, they're just like, man, some real crazy shit's happening. She was just like, I think I just had like a fever dream, something, something. I was
Yeah,
like, what? Buddy?
fever dream nightmare. It's like that was not a fever dream nightmare.
Well,
You don't just
yeah.
brush that off. It's like I yeah,
Ah,
she so much of the movie, she just doesn't do anything. She's not an active player, and that's why, like, the second that Morris was introduced, I was more invested in him because he was active.
yeah.
She just she just doesn't do anything. She's just kind of, like, trying to push through, and again, maybe that's the point. It's like, don't you see she's, like, so obsessed with, like, keeping up her image and her lifestyle that it, like, destroys herself, but it's like, I don't think that's really what they were going for. I think she's just daft.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing with her is that she she kind of it's that, but that's just like the entire point of the movie, I guess, that she wants to take control of her life, but she can't really. Like she ruined her life, she can't take control anymore, even after everything. So like that's the entire thing of like, oh, I'm in control, and then turns out she's not, and she kills herself. I think that's just like the general idea of like her never having control over her life, and I guess that's like consistent throughout the movie. So it kind of makes
It's a
sense for her to not
bleak
be in
as
control of her life, but it just makes for a kind of an interesting movie.
well, and a bleak as shit note for that to be it, where you're like she ruins like people and everything around her, and like she can't take control of her life, and then this demon comes in and kills her.
Yeah.
It's like, well, seriously, in the ending, when she, like, injected herself, at first I was like, "Oh," and then I was like, "Wait a minute." I'm like, part of her story is, like, overcoming, like, substance abuse, like, she's been staving off the drugs. I'm like, if the note actually is, like, her killing herself was the only way to do it, and she does it via drugs, I'm like, that'd be weird, like, there's no way there and then it's like, "No, no."
Yeah.
It's like even even the glimmers of like maybe this is an awesome thing or maybe it's like the movie just takes them away from you.
Yeah. And that was like,
I'm
sorry, you go on.
Well, I was just gonna say that ending, I'm telling you, I think that's what kills it for me. The inability to understand how much of this movie even happened, like, you're
That
just like, what
is
was the point
really,
of most of the ending
yeah.
if all of it wasn't real? It's
That is a big problem with the movie because you generally just have no idea if what happened prior was actually like that actually happened. Because some stuff you're just like Gemma being fake. We all knew that from the get go.
yeah.
But like, what else was fake? You know, uh,
Like I
again,
said, the
I just
teleprompter with Jack Nicholson's son where she knocks the lady off. I thought she died. I don't think they explained,
no. I
but,
think she just fell
um,
down and hurt herself. She was still moving when she fell down. I think she
yeah.
just hurt herself.
I figured that must not be real because you would think the fans wouldn't be as like I mean, it's a concert, but like, well, her mom is still there and all that, so it's I maybe it was a turnaround, but I'm like, I'm thinking that was probably fake, right? Like,
No, I think that was
but I don't
real.
know.
I think that was supposed to be real. Yeah, I think so. Like obviously the teleprompter itself was a hallucination, like that it stopped and the words that showed up and everything. Um, but the like her knocking the old lady off, I think that was real. Which again was just like a fucking jump scare. It was just like, oh, the old lady's reaching out to her. Then cut. Oh my god, it's the dead boyfriend, and she just
I
are
I couldn't help but
spasms.
laugh at that. That was so funny. She just knocks her, she full out falls and then, like call it that juvenile humor about like old people falling down, but I was like, oh my god, dude, like she's like like in her late 70s, just gets annihilated onto the table. I'm
Yeah,
like,
poor woman.
what the hell? It's I don't know.
Yeah, and like the characters, like the the agent producer, I don't know, that guy that asked
Her
her
like
to.
aide who's like always trying to give her stuff. I forgot
No, no,
his
not
name.
him.
Or
Not him. Joshua is his name, but that's not him. I'm talking about the like I think he's like the producer, the guy who got her to do the speech that night. Um
yeah.
he
Wait,
him
was that her? I thought that was like her stepdad.
no, no, no.
Isn't he?
No, no,
That
no.
was her producer?
Yeah. No, he has
'Cause her mom's obviously.
no relation to her. I think her
Oh,
mom might
wow.
be interested in him, but like it's just a slight implication in one scene. It's just, again just something that isn't really all that developed. Which is most of this movie is just like, oh, that's a cool concept. I wonder where that'll go, and it doesn't. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, we're too busy having her go back to her apartment and, like, turn off all the lights and, like, walk around slowly in her apartment with the
Yeah,
lights
just
turned
doing
off.
nothing. A lot of this movie is just her doing nothing. It is so annoying. Like, I really wish this movie was. I was talking to Evan about this before we started the recording, but like this movie would honestly be better if it wasn't a horror movie and it was just a movie about this struggling
Yeah.
musician,
C
who got into a terrible car accident and was trying to fix her life and mend, the relationships that she broke prior. Because her relationship with Gemma could have been so interesting, but Gemma literally isn't in the movie because she's fake in the entire movie. She just has like three lines when she calls her later on. Is like, man, those messages you left me were weird. Also, I didn't sleep in your apartment.
Yeah, it's the singer elements don't like, they feel so disconnected from the demon elements, like, the
Yeah,
super it's it's one of those things where I honestly get the sneaking suspicion that the idea for this movie came from specific scenes, like the creepy fans and like giving the autographs to like people and having a shark tooth smile there, and then the ending with her killing herself in front of the stage, like that shot of the reaction. Which just by the way, I love that reaction shot from the audience. No one is running away. No one's like turning around and
yeah.
vomiting.
Everyone's just
Everyone's just like
screaming
looking like,
and shaking their arms. I was like,
ah! It's like,
no, and
look away, like
everyone's
grimace.
looking at her. Yeah, no one's looking away. I thought it was so weird.
Yeah, if something like that happens in real life, like it is not as like focused of a reaction, but like obviously the shot doesn't like hold as much, and they want it to be that it's infected everybody. But can it do that?
I
It could
gu-
just
I
have a
guess so.
bunch of witnesses?
I guess so. There are no rules to say that it can't, so I suppose so.
I so it's just gonna spread then. It's like John
Yeah,
Carpenter's The Thing.
it's like yeah, it's like this universe is this entire universe. Everyone's gonna be fucked. The demon's gonna be inside all of them, I guess.
That's so lame. That's like
Well, yeah,
that's
it's
the
why
most
there is no
boring
way
thing you
there
could
could be
do.
like a third movie because everyone is infected, so there is nothing you can do anymore. Because then it'll
I
just
don't
spread
know.
over more and more and more people. So yeah.
I I have no idea. The the filmmaking here is good. It's just the premise doesn't do it any favors. Oh, by the way, I took one of the most insane bathroom breaks. I needed to wash my hands, and holy crap, I left at the crew weeping angels scene where they're like
Oh yeah.
all in her closet and like moving and see what the hell was that? Because I came back and it was like I think they were like putting their hands in her like throat and like
Yeah,
possessing
they
her.
grabbed her,
What?
bashed her head in the piano, and then gra- uh, took out some of her hair, and she passed out. I don't understand that scene because that's when like the big hallucination happens because she wakes up in a
Yeah.
hospital. It's like, oh, they found you in an apartment, passed out, blah blah blah. Right? So, like, obviously, like, all of that is fake. So, but like, is the part of where she, I guess, even her hitting her head in the piano was like the entire fucking scene is fake. Like, because she never hurt herself because she never went to the doctor, and so she never killed her mom. So that entire sequence is just like pointless, I guess. It was just like, oh, see, the demon's using her fear that if her like followers, her fans will be like the stalker crazy type, which was never a thing in the movie that she was afraid of. Like maybe if the movie had introduced that concept,
No.
but no, it's just like
Yeah, like,
it's
you could have
just
had,
trying.
like, in her intro, like, someone like the person from the autographers, like, someone like
Yeah,
him, like, accosting her and then, like, "Ah," like and she could just mention it in a passing line of dialogue, but that wasn't a thing that was, like,
yeah,
developed.
because the only time that happens is with the creepy guy and the who gets the autograph, but like the only thing they do with him is just have the jump scare where he runs at her. There's nothing like
Yeah,
there's no other
it's
point to that scene. So they could have done something if they wanted to make something about her being scared of her fans and how fame is scary or something, but they didn't. Again, something that you think, hey, that's a cool concept. I wonder where that'll go. Such a frustrating movie,
I
man. I don't think it's
yeah,
like I
I
don't
think
think
we're
it's a bad.
scathing the more we're going on,
Is the
which
thing is I
sucks
don't
'cause
think it's a bad movie. I think there's a lot of stuff that I think is really really good or just decent. I like some of the concepts. Like I struggle to say this is a bad movie. The first one I would call a bad
well,
movie, but
seriously,
I
so
I would never
Naomi
call this a good movie. That's the other issue.
no, it's like it's very well directed. Naomi Scott so they give Naomi Scott a ton of, like, opportunities to, like, shine. Like, they give her, like, 5, like, Oscar scenes where they're like, "Here, act the hell out of this shot," and she does great in all of it. Like,
Yeah,
seriously,
Naomi
impressive
Scott
stuff.
is phenomenal in this movie.
It's,
Yeah.
like, the direction is solid, there's some really interesting, like, camera choices and, like, the sets are, like, more elaborate and interesting, and I'm glad the budget is under $50 million. Like, it even though it looks, like, pretty damn expensive, it's like it's got a modest budget and it works, and, like, I like the musical score. I really did, like, I love that just it's like it's almost like sound effects and, like, weird, like, distortions
Yeah,
rather than, like, music, and,
yeah, that was
like, that was
interesting.
cool.
It reminded me
I
a little bit of Tenet, just the soundtrack in
yeah, yeah, a
general. It's
little
like,
bit.
oh, that's giving me Tenet vibes, which is two very different movies, but you know, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
On a
good
filmmaking
filmmaking
standpoint,
elements.
yeah, it is really well made. Like, and it is so much better than the first movie. I know that
I
the first one was the director's directorial debut on a feature film. And so working on the second one, he was a lot more ambitious and it looks a lot better. And than the first one. Just in general, it is a lot better, just made in general. But the and so like I just really enjoy like they use a lot of like Kubrick like very symmetrical shots and the character in the center of the frame, which I like quite a bit. Like it feels a bit more distinct. Like this movie has a very distinct look to it. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, the shots of the faces, like the opening scene, like they open on a direct like shot of that guy's face, and like they they do a good job making like those shots seem kind of eerie and like interesting in terms of like being uncomfortably close to someone.
Yeah.
I so yeah, it's hilarious. It feels like we're scraping along for something, but just watch this movie and you'll know what we're talking about. Like this movie's well put together. It's just a matter of the execution of like the story and like you were saying, Skye, it's like the pop elements, like the singer elements, like don't connect to the scare stuff.
Yeah.
And like Parker Finn just should have made a movie about that rather than make it a sequel to his Smile story
Yeah, because it's like it's
because
an
it
interesting story. Like stories about addiction with famous people, I think they're always interesting, and the concept is kind of cool that she basically got her boyfriend killed. And that she thinks she ruins everyone's life. You could tell a very interesting story about that, but it's mixed with this like demon haunting her. Ooh, and then it just kind of like
yeah.
loses its way because it doesn't focus enough on either of the aspects. Because the demon is just like trolling her, and the aspects of her fame are just like a backdrop that sometimes there's like a cool scene or moment about it, but nothing like really substantive. Like this movie's on the verge of doing something cool, but it doesn't. It never reaches it.
Yeah. Might have been like what am I saying? I had a thought and I lost it. Or no, well, what I was gonna say is that like it might have made a better like stalker movie. Like, what if like it was a similar thing where she was like freaking out and thought she was seeing things, but like, what if it was because someone was like stalking her
Uh-huh.
and like that connected to the fan thing? Like, I c- I can seriously see a version of this movie where you just subtract the demon, and I think that's a problem. Like
Yeah.
those felt foreign to the setting of the story and like the character that was the main character. It's just why this?
Yeah, the first movie honestly incorporates the demon better. Um it is a worse movie though. It is these two movies, they frustrate me. Both of them. It's annoying.
Yeah, I don't know what Parker Finn wants to do next, but I hope he does something else other than this because I I have no idea what a movie other like a different kind of movie or a different genre would look like from him. I imagine it would look good, like because he seems to be a competent filmmaker in terms of like the cinematography and like the production design of his movies. But I I just don't think this is it. I don't think this is like the best way for him to be expressing his filmmaking. So
Maybe he just needs to direct movies instead of writing them. Because he wrote both Smile movies, so yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's honestly like I see parts of the script. I mean, we've been talking in circles about it, but it's just like
But there are
he's
scenes where
not.
you're
I
like,
wouldn't call
man,
him an
that was a
incompetent
good
writer.
scene. That was a good scene. That
Yeah,
was a cool concept. But then it either goes nowhere or it's just like undercut by like the stupid horror stuff that really has nothing to do with like the main character. Like because she's just so stagnant in the movie, she doesn't do anything. Like there's so many issues with just like the story as a whole. But there's some scenes where like, man, that was a really cool scene.
yeah. Frustrating is the word with this one. It's just
Yeah.
you see potential greatness, but they often take the boring route.
I mean, that's
I think my
that's
biggest
kind of sorry, go on.
Well, I was gonna say my biggest struggle right now with coming up with any kind of number rating is the ending. Like, retrospectively, like I said, that just undoes so much of what happens in the story
Hmm.
that I don't even know, like, how much of the film to criticize because so much of it wasn't even a thing. So,
Yeah, I mean, like the last 20 minutes are entirely fake, and the rest of the movie, as far as we know, all of it could be fake too. I don't, because like there's even like you remember that scene where Joshua walks out of her dressing room and she walks in and it's all destroyed, and it turns out Joshua was never there, and she apparently destroyed her entire dressing room, which she didn't know. Like I was just like, what's even the point of this? Like she didn't really lose any
yeah,
time. She
that
was
didn't
just on stage. How did she destroy her own dressing room? Like what happened? I don't understand logistically how this could have happened.
I think the only reason that scene existed was to just create a scene of drama between her and the mom. Like,
Yes.
other than that, that didn't go anywhere. She never figured out why that happened, and she never that poor guy, by the way, Josh, you said his name
Yeah,
was?
Joshua. He poor guy
Yeah.
didn't do anything wrong. He's just a good assistant.
Yeah, he's doing his best, and, like, he gets the soda, and, like, that's when she pulls the gun and goes apeshit in
Well,
front of
that
him,
didn't
like,
happen, so it's
I
fine.
hope that guy
That
well,
was all
yeah,
fake.
exactly! God damn it! You you can't whatever did or did not happen to that guy in this movie, I hope he becomes the aid of another singer that's really solid or at least gets an enviable job.
Yeah, I hope he gets a better job. He deserves better. Good old Joshua. He's the goat of the movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know. I'm it's frustrating. I honestly wouldn't recommend it for theaters. I'd still it's worth it though, still. I would recommend someone check it out even just for Parker Finn's filmmaking and,
Naomi
especially
Scott.
Naomi, yeah, like, her acting, she's going places. I hope she gets, like I yeah, really good stuff, and I'm curious to see what she does in the future because she shows a lot of range and goes to some pretty insane places in this movie.
Yeah, just for her, for her real to continue on her career. This movie is probably really good for her. Um, she is the reason why I would tell people to watch it too. I think she's the best aspect of it, and there's a lot of really cool filmmaking, as you said. Though it's the kind of thing, I don't know if you got that same idea. I was kind of wondering if you had it, if you had, because when I was watching a lot of the time, I was just like, this whole movie feels like a director showing off what he can do. Instead of like just doing stuff, it's like
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's like, oh, look at how cool this shot it is that we can do, or this. And I was just like, okay, man,
It
like I enjoyed it as like someone who likes filmmaking. It's enjoyable to see good filmmaking, but a lot of the time it just feels like show offy rather than like purposeful, I guess.
yeah, kinda pretentious like Nicholas Winding Refn, like, it reminded me a lot of, like, the Neon Demon and movies like that, like, movies about, like, the world. I haven't seen Maxine yet, but I've heard that's another movie that's like that, kind of like a, the world of filmmaking and, like, music and, like, how cutthroat and insane it all is, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, it is a movie. Uh,
It's a movie, it's unclear how much of the movie is real, and
yeah.
it's hard to discuss it because of that.
Uh,
I
and what is
I don't
real is
know.
also not the best executed. It is a mess of a movie. That is my review. It is a
Yeah.
mess of a movie, but I think it's probably worth watching. I would say it's better to watch this movie on its own than watch it with the first one because first one's
Yeah. Well,
has
and real
less
talk,
of
like,
worth.
I got my scares in the theater, like, a lot of them were cheap, but
Yeah.
still, like,
Yeah, there were a
if
few
you
times where I
wanna go
jumped
to
on
the
my chair. Yeah.
if you wanna just go to the movie theater and, like, have, like, something that's kind of a freaky experience, like, you might honestly have a good time. Like, if you like jump scares, like, you're gonna like this movie, you really will. It's
Yeah.
like it definitely gives you all those, like, "Ah!" Like, just if you go for that kind of a thing, like, this is probably your vibe, but
Yeah.
it's full experience didn't round out all that well for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think that is all for today, folks. I think we've
Yeah.
criticized my O2 enough. uh, well, thank you all very much for watching. I forgot. No, sorry.
I
Rewind.
was about to say, let's get
Your
through it.
recommendation, Evan, for next week. Yeah, I forgot that we did that. Sorry.
So my all-time favorite horror movie is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Hmm.
And you and I have both seen that, and
Yeah.
I imagine both love it. So I am going double feature with the prequel to The Thing. I've
The
never
one
seen
with
it.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead, right?
Yes, 2011. You haven't seen that,
I
right?
haven't either. I've heard actually that it is pretty decent.
I have too. It's interesting. I've heard there's a lot of like respectable detail with like how they put together the Norwegian base and like and recreate the events that like you see in that movie. I've heard the biggest thing is studio interference because like I don't know if you know about the CGI.
No, I don't.
Oh man, they built like actual prosthetics and actual like, practical effects for the Thing prosthetics, but then the studio wanted to cover them with CGI because
Oh,
it was 2011, and it's just such a disappointment because you can see the good work there and in the
well,
behind the
it's
scenes, but in the
the
actual movie, it was just something they forced them to do.
right. It's the kind of thing that still happens a lot. Like the have you seen the behind the scenes of the sets in Wicked? There's a lot of people talking about that in
No,
on
not
Twitter.
oh, well,
That
yeah,
the
I've
sets
seen
look
all the
really, really good, but in the movie they all look gray and colorless and lifeless.
when yeah, that glossy texture, it just comes down to how films are shot nowadays. Because
Yeah.
no movies look that way when you look at the sets, and it's hilarious how detailed those are, and people are like, "What a waste, like, why doesn't the movie look as good otherwise?" But,
Yeah.
yeah, I I've heard that, like, that there's stuff to criticize, but I've heard, like, it's better than you might imagine. It's better than people give it credit for, so,
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. Well, that'll be interesting. I've been wanting to watch that prequel for a while now, and Mary Elizabeth
yeah.
Winstead is the love of my life, so that'll be fun.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely
Well,
looking forward to seeing that.
yeah, to round off spooky month. The
Yeah,
Thing
I think we
and
got some
The
pretty
Thing.
I think we got some pretty, good selections. We got Smile 2, we watched, Talk to Me, and then what was the first?
Nosferatu. We also
Oh,
watched
yeah,
that.
yeah, that was along with Joker.
Yeah.
So, pretty good spooky season, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good month. Oh my god, we did Deadpool and Wolverine to start off October. uh well.
Mea culpa.
Yeah, well, folks, that is it now. For real. Now I've not forgotten anything. So we'll catch you all next week with The Thing
Catch you
and The
next
Thing.
week.
See ya.
See ya.